As we draw to a close on the latter stages to the primary tale of Red Dead Redemption 2, the death of protagonist Arthur Morgan, we're blessed with a further 20 hours or so of gameplay and narrative as we step into the boots of John Marston. John, alongside his partner Abigail and their son, Jack, attempt to live a brand new life from the one they lived before. Attempting to pursue a normal life, one away from outlaws, they finally find themselves homed at the recently formed Pronghorn Ranch before later making a home of Beecher's Hope in the state of New Austin. But when comparing to our time as Arthur, this latter setting we find ourselves in somehow feels somewhat empty to players. But why is that? Well, today we'll explore this topic. Welcome to the video. You're listening to Phil of Philby Gaming. If you enjoy the following, you all know what to do. And if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed already, after watching, please consider doing so. Without further delay, let's get into today's discussion. Why does our time in New Austin feel so empty? One thing we need to address first and foremost is the dramatic change of pace as we enter the epilogue portion of the title, and why this was completely necessary. Following the action-packed 6 chapters of the primary narrative, we, as the player, needed time to process the entire thing, from the fall of the gang to the demise of the much-loved Arthur Morgan. After being taken on this heartbreaking journey, players needed time to reset themselves. This is why I believe that the first chapter of the epilogue being in particular here was slowed to a pace of near standstill. We spent Epilogue 1 milking cows, mending fences and cleaning out stables for the most part. This allowed the player to continue to enjoy the title while processing the main narrative. We barely leave Pronghorn Ranch as Rockstar intended for us to take some downtime, all the while continuing to tell the story of John and his family. But as we progress and later find ourselves at the home of Beecher's Hope, the world of New Austin in particular feels bland and empty. There's significantly less side missions, random characters and interactions in general. But why? Well, that's what we're here to look at. Let's first take a look at the world of New Austin itself and its primary locations. For example, the town of Armadillo. During Red Dead Redemption 1, this small town is bustling with life and activity in 1911, but as we enter just 4 years prior, it's almost a ghost town. Using the reasons of a plague to explain this, Rockstar implements that its residents have fled in fear of their own health and well-being. To the contrary, we have the likes of Tumbleweed, now lively in 1907, as opposed to its RDR1 counterpart. But still, it's significantly more empty than the likes of Saint-Denis, Valentine, or even Rhodes. During RDR1, the Marshal mentions to John that Tumbleweed used to be an active town before the railroad diverted past it, causing a decline in commerce. But why did they abandon the town of Armadillo? Then we have Thieves Landing, which in 1907 is little more than a dock, currently occupied by the Del Lobo gang. What we need to remember is that in 1911, the era of the Wild West is almost at an end, so I understand they may be showing us the stages of advancement between 1899 to 1907 to 1911, but it still could have filled the towns and settlements with a little more activity. Then of course there's Mexico, which in Red Dead Redemption 2 is little more than a barren wasteland where only the unclipped structure of El Presidio stands. Some speculate, including myself, that Rockstar may have had plans for a DLC release to explore the southern country, but alas, we got nothing. The emptiness could also be explained as part of the narrative. During the primary, where we rolled as Arthur, we were surrounded by not only an active world, but active campsites too. Of course, as the tale progressed and the Van der Linde gang began to decline, the numbers dwindled, but in the earlier stages, such as Horseshoe Overlook, the posse was around 20 or so strong. There was always something going on. Did Rockstar insert this emptiness to represent that John Marston, aside from his immediate family and a few close friends, is now alone in this world? Is it to show that John no longer has the backing of his crew and must face this world on his own, no one to watch his back? Of course, we do get the likes of Charles Smith, Sadie Adler and Uncle joining us, but over time, just like the original gang, the numbers once again begin to lessen. Going back to the advancement of New Austin in 1907, I do appreciate that it's bringing normalization to the world, a more civilized society if you will, as this falls in line with the narrative of 1911. It's showing that life in these untamed lands is coming to a close as more and more populate the regions where there's less chaos in general as well as interactions. But what of the character of John Marston himself? How does he fare from adjusting from a posse of 20 strong to now being alone in this world? John is a lot more silent and withdrawn than that of his character we met and loved in the first Red Dead Redemption. But why? Let's look at when he meets several people from his past: Mary Beth, Tilly, and Rainsfall. Each interaction is short-lived as all three are currently in transit. Mary Beth and Rainsfall leave via the train and Tilly via the Saint Denis trolley. Are these final goodbyes closure to John, allowing him to finally put his past behind him? We do have Pearson, who's now the proprietor of the general store of Rhodes, but you'd think that after all of these years, where the two weren't even aware if the other was alive, there'd be a little more interaction than a general quick catch-up. It's almost as if John doesn't want or need reminders of his past life. I don't think John so much fears his troubled past and is trying to escape it. I think this more sullen character, who's quick to end relationships, actually symbolises John's commitment to change. He's wanting to settle down at beaches and provide a life for his family, a life away from the risk of harm to himself and loved ones. The strong silent type that we see him begin to develop into isn't a lack of character, but a powerful representation of his commitment to a new life as well as a new identity. His interactions with Abigail and Jack showcase this, as he displays a sense of responsibility and protection to those that surround him. The world of New Austin we find ourselves in, as well as the alteration in John's character, does feel empty, but it's simply progression as we bridge the gap between 1907 and 1911. So let me know in the comment section your thoughts on today's video. Do you agree that the emptiness is to showcase the advancement of the world that surrounds us? Or was it simply a rushed end to a project that had already been delayed by a year for release? If you enjoyed what you saw today, be sure to hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share with those you may feel would enjoy content such as this. Thank you all for watching. You've been listening to Phil of Philby Gaming, and I'll see you in the next video.